city. DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Let's get it. Yeah. No, with me. Yeah. I'm from the city. DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's get it, baby.
He the one.
With me. So
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, you guys, to the 1130 podcast. It's good, everybody going out there. Appreciate you guys joining me back here for the podcast, man. It's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Hope everybody's day is going great. Good morning to everybody who's joining me on EB Radio this morning, and for everybody who's watching on YouTube, I appreciate it so much, man. And good morning, good night, good afternoon to everybody all across the world, man. You know how we get down. Man, it's a new episode of the 1130 podcast, man. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited to dive into everything this week, man, here on the podcast. But if you guys new to the 1130 podcast, sit tight. It's going to be a great one. And also, if you're new, joining me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the 1130 podcast YouTube channel. Yes, like it, leave a comment, and subscribe. Yes. And also, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I was saying, man, we're gonna chop it up, man, here on the podcast this week. You guys, man, chat along. Tell me what you think about it in the live chat on YouTube. Or also, like I said, follow the 1130 podcast on Instagram and follow EB Radio on Instagram at EB Radio _, you guys. But once again, man, how everybody day is going, man. I know I'm doing well, man. I'm excited to be here on another edition of the 1130 podcast, man. I was looking back at some of the catalogs that I got, man, and just, you know, sometimes you gotta, you know, take a moment and pause, man, and just, you know, thank God, man, thank the Lord that He allow me, you know, or everybody, man, who out there doing whatever they doing, man, podcasting or whatever, man, to allow you to keep, you know, coming back each and every day, give you another chance to go hard at it. And, you know, man, I'm loving it, man. And like I said, looking back at the categories, man, and seeing how far I come is amazing. It's amazing chatting with people each and every week. You know, man, it's awesome. It's awesome. We are on the road to episode 100, you guys. Yes, episode 100. Yeah, that's going to be a great one, you guys. That's going to be a great one. If you're familiar with the 1130 podcast, or if you're not, go on YouTube, check out some old episodes, man. For real. Tell me what you think. For real. Tell me what you think. And speaking of old episodes, while we're on the road, you guys, to the 100th episode, each week here on out, you guys, I will be taking you back to some dope interviews with some great podcast personalities, entrepreneurs that I've had here on the 1130 podcast. Now, I've been a part of EB Radio and the EB Radio brand and family, you know, for some time now. Going on, 6 months now? And it's awesome, man. Shout out to everybody from EB Radio, to Barkeem Bar, the president of EB Radio. Shout out to every podcast that's, you know, here on EB Radio and the DJs and everything, because it's nothing but dope. But yes, I'm gonna take you back to some dope interviews, you guys, of the 1130 podcast that you may have not heard or seen if you have not went back to catch up on the 1130 podcast on YouTube. But you guys, man, that's coming up a little later on in the show. We're gonna get it all started, you guys. We're gonna kick it off, you guys, with the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, man, WTF moment of the week. Yo, man, I caught this story a little late, man. I'm a little late when I caught the story, but I heard about it and I was like, damn, man, it's always some crazy shit going down. But you guys, man, came out of DC, yo, man. Came out of DC. It was this month, man. Shout out to the LGBTQ community. I hope I'm not missing no letters or anything. But shout out, because, you know, yo, they some dope people and everything, man. They human just like, you know, we are. But the WTF moment, man, it was a girl, man, with her friends and, you know, with a group of people. They just chilling at a DC bar. Because they just coming from the Pride Parade that was here in DC a couple of weeks ago, you know, and they just go, you know, at a bar, you know, having a good time, you know, restrictions are loosened up, and, you know, a lot of people seem to be having, you know, a good time, which, you know, that's rightfully fair. You know, I want to have a good time. I want to go places, but, yo, man, some went down, you guys, with the security guy and shorty, you know, the girl who was there, you know, having a good time, you know, after this, you know, Pride Parade. somehow I guess she got mixed up with somebody and something went on and Shorty got dragged out of the bar, man. What I'm telling you, man, when she got dragged out the bar, it wasn't just, from your table to the door. He dragged her from, I guess, wherever she was at, down some steps, out the door, and everybody she was, like I said, rightfully so, man, ganged up on him. For real, what?
A viral video caught a bouncer at a D.C. sports bar dragging a 22-year-old black woman down the stairs from the second floor. Nellie's Sports Bar in Shaw just announced it has terminated the independent security vendor that was working the bar during Capitol Pride Week. Protesters gathered outside the bar Sunday, and that's where we spoke to Keisha Young. She's the woman who was dragged down the stairs. She said she'd done nothing to deserve that kind of rough treatment.
It was an altercation in there. They was trying to get some other people out because somebody else brought a bottle in there. Somehow I got mixed up in an altercation because I looked like somebody else, and I got hit and dragged down the steps.
The bar is apologizing and planning to stay closed for the rest of the week to focus on creating a safe environment for everyone. A lawyer for Young is threatening to sue the bar for alleged civil rights violations.
Man, that is crazy right there, man. For real, like he had her by her head, her shirt or hair or whatever. Like you grabbed her though, like, bruh. Man, I tell you, man, that couldn't have been, my sisters or anything like that. Seeing that video though, do bold and everything, and if, okay, let's say if he was wrong or, oh, my bad, ma'am, my bad, I thought you was someone else. Did you really have to drag that person out, by her head though, like embarrassed her though, like, bruh, like WTF, man, for real, WTF. The bar got rid of the security guy. They said, man, we don't want no parts or whatever, like no more parts with that. But yeah, that is real crazy though, like by her head though, of all places, but dragged her though, at all. That's crazy though. That's crazy. But you guys, man, I got another WTF moment, man, and this one is crazy, you guys. It's a little early to think, I guess, you're Santa Claus or maybe be watching some Santa Claus movies. Maybe not, it's still some rough times going on, and, Christmas is a wonderful, wonderful time for some people. But, my WTF moment here, man, 18-year-old, but before I get into that, you guys, man, we all experience losing our keys, whether it's our house keys, our car keys, we just mad as hell. You like, God darn it, or you just left out the house and you locked the bottom lock or whatever, and you just left the keys in the house. But, Shorty, left her keys in the house. She said, shoot, you know what, man? I got to get my keys, though. I got to get my keys, not calling the locksmith, not trying to do something else. Shorty climbed up on the roof. She get up on the roof and she slides down. She goes down the chimney like she's Santa Claus and, stuff like that. Like it's just June, sweetheart. It's just June. And she's 18 years old. She got a long way to live, to realize your ass don't need to be going down no chimney unless you just trying to go viral. Like, WTF though, like real life.
Well, new at 3 o'clock, an unusual rescue in Henderson. Firefighters rescuing a young woman who got stuck in a chimney. This was right near Horizon and College Drives. Firefighters say the 18-year-old got locked out of her home and then tried to get in by climbing through the chimney. That woman was not injured and did get pulled out to safety in about a half an hour. Not a good place to be on a hot day like today. All right.
You gotta be more responsible though. I understand, hey, we got stuff we need to do and gotta do. But come on, down the chimney though, of all places though. She was like, hey man, Santa Claus did it in all the movies that I seen, Yeah. WTF. Hey, but you guys, man, we're going to move on here on the 1130 podcast. Once again, you guys, man, it's been a wonderful day. And how was you guys' weekend was, man? This past weekend, you guys, and actually last Friday, it was announced that Juneteenth was, made a federal holiday, you guys. Yes, Juneteenth. Juneteenth, for everybody, who don't know, some of the listeners who may not be familiar with it and everything like that. Back in 1865, Lincoln, freed the slaves, it was like, slaves free or whatever like that. But of course, in Texas, man, they were still, because Texas, hey, it's rough. It was rough in Texas. But, Texas was kind of like, we're the last people to free the slaves. But, yo, man, after all this time though, we get this holiday. My man, D.L. Hughley, I was watching TMZ. My man, D.L. Hughley, were on there. And I ain't a big fan of D.L. Hughley. I was talking about him actually last year on the podcast with, he was just getting, he was, of course, through the midst of the pandemic, a lot of people weren't able to work, especially like music, guys and girls and comedians and stuff. So when, they had a little bit opening to do so, he went on the stage and he collapsed though, but I was talking about that situation. But nonetheless though, my man D.L. Hughley was on TMZ and he was just, talking about his, it's cool that the fact that they gave us, this holiday, Juneteenth, but if you're gonna give us this holiday, we also need it to be taught to the youth and taught to other people who are not familiar with Juneteenth. I know when, because it was introduced on Friday that this was, a holiday and stuff. Man, I'm going around places, I'm calling places. I'm like, man, ain't nobody answering the phone. Ain't nobody down in the rental office. I'm like, well, what is going on though? Like, and then I realized, I was like, oh shit, that's right, Juneteenth. Okay, cool. And yeah, man, he was, my man DL was just like, yo, what are we gonna do? They give us these holidays, but then shit just keeps happening over and over and over again. I hate to sort of bring up this guy, even though he had little bad stuff happening to him in the past couple of months. He should be good. My man Trey Songz, he said one thing that stuck out to me. When there's ever, some type of, tragedy or bad stuff going on in the country, the government, politicians, they find a way, especially when it's targeting the Black community and the Black African American race. It seems like they find a way to sort of sweeten us up, and sort of be like, okay, well, I understand, I understand you may feel like this, but they don't understand. And they probably don't even give a fuck. But okay, yeah, I understand, you feel like this. Here go this, and here go this. And here go this. You okay? You okay? And we Black people, we go quiet. We go quiet. I hear and I see it, and I say sometimes, after these, tragic, murders of Black people by police officers and stuff like that, it's like, man, the march should continue. After 3 weeks and a month, and a half or a month go by, it's old news now, but as soon as it happens again, we protesting, we marching, and then we quiet. But like my man Trey Songz was saying, it's a daggone Dr. Martin Luther King Avenue, Drive, Street, Place, and almost every Black predominantly neighborhood, man. So what has changed? What has changed, man? But hopefully, with this, holiday, man, it changed. I tell you what changed from the Saturday before and this past Saturday. There was a whole lot of fireworks going on. I tell you that much. They was having a good time though. But hey, I want everybody to celebrate freedom because, man, we God give us each and every day to wake up, man, and go at it. So you gotta celebrate life and enjoy it, man. Also, man, you guys that went down, man, this past Sunday, you guys, was Father's Day. Shout out to all my fathers out there. Like I said, man, we gotta, give it up for our dads and, our uncle, everybody, man, all everybody, all our dads out there, man. Hope every dad had an enjoyable Father's Day. I chill. With the fam, did my thing, and so, Father's Day, always just more than that, just relax, and just, let this holiday or let that holiday just be, for everybody else, I celebrate Mama's Day, a lot, Mother's Day, But, you know, my dad really wasn't in my life. I talked about that on a documentary, which returned this Sunday, you guys. But yeah, and my stepdad, I lost my stepdad when I was 7. Had multiple father figures, you know. So, yo, I just, you know, shouted out all the dads on Sunday and just hope everybody had an awesome Father's Day, man. For real. Speaking of Father's Day, I know one dude had an awesome Father's Day. My man, Trey Young. I know a lot of people, man, got their feelings on Trey Young, man. For real. My man, Trey Young, he go in, he win that playoffs basketball game. And not only that, he give his jersey to his father. Now, that's a Father's Day. That's a Father's Day gift right there. It don't get no better than that, I guess, though. But, yo, man, this past weekend and on Father's Day, man, we had some more NBA games for my NBA fanatics out there. Also, man, shout out my guest who was on last week. Had an awesome guest, you guys. Brittany Wagner from Last Chance U. It was an awesome time having her on the podcast. I asked her last week, who do you think is going to win the 2021 NBA Finals? And, you know, she's not really a basketball fan. And I just thought I'd ask her the question. But she said the Brooklyn Nets. And the Brooklyn Nets, man, got shut out of the playoffs. I think it was Friday night, and it was crazy. My man KD shot the air ball, and it was just like man, it was crazy though. But yo, man, like his mom did a great job, you know, hugging him, giving that hug, because you gonna get grilled. Social media gonna grill you, my guy. Like, I was rooting for him, you know. I was really, really rooting for him. A lot of people were saying, yo, Milwaukee need this. You know, if Milwaukee don't win this, man, it's gonna be some trouble. Like, they done choked 2 years in a row. It's gonna be some trouble. But hey, yo, man. Also, man, this Sunday we seen the Atlanta Hawks defeat the Philadelphia 76ers. And boy, them fans at the daggone arena with the 76ers, they were mad. They was throwing water bottles. They was throwing everything, booing them and everything, booing them. Oh, no, but real quick, though, my man Giannis, though, he got to be the funniest dude to shoot a free throw right now. He's more comical than Shaq, man, because Shaq, he get to the free throw, he'll shoot the jump. All right, you shoot it, he'll miss. My man Giannis, he got to sit there, he got practice. He got to do a whole bunch of, y'all seen that video with James Harden. It was kind of like, yo, like, come on, bro. Like, how long you going to take, you know? And then the crowd is just counting them down, and it's like a Royal Rumble match. 1, 10, 9, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Instead, they just counting upwards, just like, dude, how long you going to take? But, man, hope everybody enjoyed the games, man. For real. We got the Final Four. So I'm going with kind of Phoenix, man. I'm leaning with Phoenix, you know. I was going with Brooklyn. I was hoping they take it. Of course, my Lakers out. And, of course, the Wizards didn't get past Philly. So I'm going to go with maybe, you know, Phoenix, because CP3 off the chain. Devin Booker just killing it. And as far as Milwaukee goes, they cool. I like them. They cool. I like them. But speaking of sports, you guys, man, yo, in California, man, it was a crazy championship game going on, man. Yeah, crazy championship game. You know, man, it's the championship. It's championship season. You feel me? I won it. I know you won it. We gonna go hard at it. But it was two high school teams, you guys, of course, going at it, man, trying to for the basketball championships. One school, you guys, went in there, determined, of course, to win, and just like the others, though. But the Cordano High School won. They won by 3 points, you guys. They won by 3 points. But what happened afterward had everybody talking, you guys.
Noon calls for punishment are now growing after video surfaced of an incident involving tortillas at a Coronado High School basketball game. Now, video obtained by Fox 5 shows tortillas being thrown at members of the opposing team, Orange Glen High School from Escondido. Fox 5's Ashley Jacobs is live outside Coronado High School, where the police are now involved in this investigation. Ashley.
Maria, good afternoon to you. A spokesperson for the Coronado Police Department tells me it's just too early to discuss any possible charges. They are still interviewing witnesses and need to consult the district attorney's office. Now, Coronado High won a very close, heated game. It was the CIF Regional Championship, but instead of celebrating, some are saying how they reacted was racist and that they should forfeit that game.
Action needs to be taken, and I think the action should be that Coronado should forfeit that game.
Social justice advocate Enrique Morones says if this behavior isn't punished, it is bound to happen again.
These hate acts, they got to be called out. We cannot accept it. These are young people. They obviously have been influenced maybe by their parents or their friends, and we got to call it out.
The Escondido Union High School District Superintendent agrees.
We need to make sure we're doing all we can to create environments in our larger communities where all of our students can feel safe, they can feel respected, and they can feel valued.
But that's not what happened over the weekend when the predominantly Latino Orange Glen High School team approached Coronado players for the traditional post-game shake. Some Coronado players started throwing tortillas at them as others yelled profanity.
If people find out exactly what happened, I believe that the majority of the community will be against these types of actions.
Coronado police are investigating and have identified the man who brought tortillas to the game and handed them out. They confirm it was not a student. Latino caucus leaders, including San Diego's Lorena Gonzalez, are also reacting, saying this goes beyond a teaching moment, calling it a glaring example of racism from students old enough to know better. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria agrees.
This is not acceptable and quite honestly is not going to set them up well for success. We are in a diverse global economy. If we have young people who are harboring these kinds of feelings, they're not going to be successful in their lives, and time for change is now.
They just started throwing tacos at the losers once they lost, though. Like, bruh, like what type of racist shit is this? Like, what's going on here? Like, you throwing tacos though? Of all things though, like at a game though, you know, we got fans coming back. We want to throw water bottles. We want to spit it. We want to do the most though, but we throwing tacos. Like, what is going on? Like, people must be sitting at home just orchestrating. Like, shit, man. When I get back to the game, I'm gonna throw this taco. You know, I gotta make sure it has lettuce. You know, I gotta make sure it has some sour cream on it. You know, like, yeah, you know, I mean, I'm gonna throw this water bottle too, but I gotta make sure I drink it first. You know, like, just crazy crap, man. I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of what I don't know, I mean, we all trying to, you know, win championships in life. This soccer team won a championship. They just won a trophy, but they were too excited. They smashed the trophy right after winning it. Yes, jumping up and down, too excited. Yes. We won. We did it, and cracked, smashed. You know, all the students, all the players picked up a piece of the trophy, took it on with them. Of course, they're gonna get a new trophy, but come on, bro. Like, WTF, bro? You gotta be more careful than that, bro. You can see him in the video, like, come on, man, come on, bro. Like, who told you to have it? Who told you to jump up and down with it? Like, come on, bro. Like, you see some of the people in the video was just like, bro, he always do that, bro. Like, he always do it. Like, he always do that, man. Yo. Hey, you guys, man. It's been a hell of a show. As you can see, I'm having fun. I hope you guys are enjoying the 11:30 podcast. Yeah, man. Hey, yo, we're going to keep the show rolling on. But before we do, you guys, like I was saying earlier in the show, man, we on the road, on the countdown to the 100th episode of the 11:30 podcast. Here on EB Radio and here on YouTube, man. It's episode 81. So this week, you guys, man, we're going to start it off. We're taking you back, you guys, to a nice, cool interview with a guy I had on the podcast. I had the privilege to have on the podcast, my guy, Tyrone Dixon. It's going to be smooth. My man, Tyrone Dixon from Syracuse, New York. You know, he's a life coach. He's a relationship coach, man. Tyrone Dixon, I appreciate you joining me. What's going on, buddy?
Pretty good, brother. I appreciate you having me, man. And I'll give my little caveat that I gave you when we were just talking too. If anybody hears any cooing in the background, this is not on Mr. Dre. This is on me, my baby in the background fighting her sleep like crazy, man. But with that being said, I appreciate you having me, brother. I appreciate you allowing me to share some of my jewels with your audience, man. And like I told you off the air, I appreciate all your content, man. So I'm looking forward to being a part of your show and getting this thing going.
Appreciate it, man. Once again, thank you. Like you were saying, for my viewers who are not familiar with you, may you introduce yourself to them, please?
Yes, sir. I am the host of the Quality of Love podcast, also nationally certified life and relationship coach. I started my company at Rose 2 Concrete Consulting probably about 4 years now. I've been doing consulting work. With my company, I do consulting work on emotional regulation. So typically I'll get clients and I'll teach them techniques on how to regulate their emotions so they don't lose emotional control, whether that's at the workplace, at home, or out in the community. After about probably about 3 years of working in the community here in Syracuse, which Syracuse is constantly ranked in the top 10 poorest cities in the country. And what I did was I essentially drew a parallel between poverty and emotional control, right? Those two things go hand in hand. From there, I created the podcast, the Quality of Love podcast, to get everything that I know, all the information and knowledge that I have in my head, out to audiences. And thankfully, it's been going phenomenal, man. I've met awesome people like you, also a couple others, man. It's been going phenomenal, and I'm very, very appreciative that people are receptive to what I have to say, and also trust me to help them out with their life struggles.
Yeah, man, because people trust you, man. And I was listening to your podcast, man. Me and my fiance was listening to it, man. It's great. I love the questions, the love nugget. You know, I realized why it's called a love nugget. Is it called the love nugget because the episodes are short?
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. You just get a little nugget with during the week. You just get a quick little nugget, man, just to get you through your day. Because I'm sure you're a seasoned podcast guy, so you know people, they're looking for quick information when you're on a podcast wave. So that nugget is just a quick little bit of information to get you through your day.
Okay, cool. Can you tell my viewers and listeners something about your podcast, man? The Quality of Love podcast. Can you tell them something about your podcast?
Absolutely. It came about as a result of what I call relationship inventories, and this is something I would invite all your viewers to do as well. There was a point in time in my life where I was just around a lot of negative people that were complaining, blaming everybody else for their issues, and just all of these negative things. And I'm like, there has to be a correlate between like their feelings and what's going on in the world. And I started sitting down and I'm like, what's going on? And I realized, and I say it in every episode, but legitimately, man, the quality of love and relationships that you have in your life determine the quality of your life. So what that says is that if you have negative people in your life, if you have people that are going to blame, bring others down, that's going to have some type of effect on you. And the more you stay around those people, the more of a hindrance it has on your quality of life.
Exactly. You're right about that, man. It's all about who, you have around and also in your circle. And the fact that you said that, I want to bring something up. You said this on your podcast. You feel as though the number one thing to have in your circle, or at least someone who inspires you. And I want you to elaborate on that.
Precisely. Actually, I got about 3 or 4 people in my circle that inspire me now. But I think as we go through the world, man, especially present day, with all the negative things going on, you got the social media effect where you can go online and you can get likes, but is there really a lot of substance to those likes? You know what I mean? Is there a lot going on behind those likes? So for me, when I talk about someone who is inspired, that's somebody who you could constantly look to and be like, you know what? That person's on their job, so let me get on my job and let me make sure I'm on top of the things that I need to be on top of.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what made you want to be a life coach and a relationship coach?
This actually it's funny how life works out, Dre, because I didn't actually want to be a life coach or relationship coach. Okay. This actually I stumbled upon this from a lot of failed relationships. I have a recent episode on my podcast where I talk about my life and my time as a former narcissist. Okay. Right? So I was somebody who always was looking to get what I could out of a relationship, whether that was a woman, whether that was friends, associates. I was always looking to manipulate things so that I always somehow came out as the winner or on top of the situation. And after failed relationship, man, I started to realize that I was deep down on the inside, I wasn't a good person, right? And I didn't like who I had become at the time. And I was working with adolescent youth at the time. So what my range was. 12, probably about 12 to 14-year-old young men who, like, they would come into my program and everybody be like, okay, hey, Tyrone, this kid is bad. This kid is the worst kid ever, so on and so forth. The kid would come in, we would get them structure and routine, and I kid you not, Dre, this kid would be phenomenal. Like, I met some of the best basketball players, some of the best artists, all of these things through this residential program. But the thing about it was the kids would only stay with us for a year, right? Okay. So then they would get sent back out into their homes, and 9 times out of 10, I kid you not, they would get right back in trouble. So I'm like, something's not right here. And when I started looking at it and assessing it for what it is, and I say it's kind of like the zoo mentality, right? If you take an animal out of the zoo or out of the wild and you put them in the zoo, they're gonna have structured routine. They're gonna be nice, calm animals. But now you put them back into the wild, what they're gonna do? Revert back to their old habits, right? Become animals again. So I started to see that same thing with these young men, and I'm like, I have to do more, and I have to create more opportunities for especially young Black men to be able to do something else and not get in trouble. So that, along with a lot of my own personal turmoil that I was dealing with at the time, caused me to be like, all right, you know what, it's time for me to step up and do more.
Okay. That's dope, man. Real dope, man.
I appreciate that, brother.
On your podcast, man, you talk about life, relationships, and everything, man. And I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I want to know how to recreate that beginning love feel. You know how you get in a relationship and you're just getting into it, and it's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. But, you know, what about the people who've been in relationships maybe 10, 20 years or so, you know, and, you know, you don't have that feeling no more? How can, you know, you can recreate that, you know, so it can be, I guess, spontaneous, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely. I think as we grow older, because we all go through this, right? Like, if you've been in a relationship for a long period of time, it's stuff get old. So what I invite people to do, especially when I'm doing couple therapy or couples coaching, is create gratitude jars. And what that is it's just a little pickle jar or any type of jar you could find from the dollar store, and put 5 things. Start off with 5 and increase as you go, but put 5 things that absolutely made you fall in love with your partner, right? So for me, one of the things that I really still to this day love and appreciate about my wife is the fact that she's so selfless, right? So her selflessness is something that I'll probably always be attracted to her for. But as you know, things don't always go smooth in relationships. So there are times where I'm like, man, listen, you know what I mean? But when I do get to those points, and those points where I feel like I'm stuck, Dre, I go to that gratitude jar, right? So what made us get to this point? Like, what made us kind of fall in love with each other? What made us want to get married, want to get engaged? And I have all of those little moments in the jar. And anytime she pisses me off, I just go to the jar, pull it out, and I'm able to say, okay, my wife was the first person that really sacrificed and gave all of herself to me before she even knew what I was capable of. So that would be my number one advice. The other thing that I would do, that I tell everybody to do as well, is try to limit your intake of media. So whether that's social media, or just news, period. Because if you take too much of that in, what you will realize, or you'll get stuck in this idea that society is the way your relationship should go, right? So however society says relationships should go, that's how your relationship to go. And I think a lot of people kind of fall into that trap, which is a false narrative. You want to create your own environment outside of the artificial environment that we live in today, which is our society.
Yo, you guys, man, I appreciate you guys sticking with me here this week on the 1130 podcast. It's been an awesome show, you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the interview that I had with my cool guest that I had back some time ago here on the podcast, my guy Tyrone Dixon, you guys. Yes, we're going to continue that interview, you guys, right after the break. So don't go nowhere, you guys, for real. You're listening and you're watching to the 1130 podcast, you dig? Don't go nowhere.
Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got no problems. Speak something that I gotta be honest. Told him he was gonna blow. Welcome to EB.
Everyone has something to say, a story to tell. We make it easy to share yours. So let's talk. regardless of your podcast setup. Hit record. And from there, whether your podcast reaches 10 people or 10 million, we can help you get heard wherever listeners are.
And who knows, maybe even quit your day job.
But no matter who hears you, it's about connecting and sharing something from your perspective.
It's about having a voice and using it without anything standing in your way. Say it all with Anchor.
You want paper, nigga? What it really cost you? If you grind from the bottom, then it feel more awesome. Awesome. Don't be scared of us. Just approach with caution. 1130 podcast, nigga, is you watching? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on wheels is the one. Let's get it.
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break, you guys. It's been one hell of a show. But before we get back into the show, you guys, I just want to remind everyone to tune back in to EB Radio tonight, you guys. Yes, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss the Notorious Moms, you guys. The Notorious Moms podcast, all new episode tonight, you guys. And also, you guys, man, download the free EB Radio app for everybody watching on YouTube. You guys, yo, man, we about to get back into the show. I had an awesome guest, you guys. Tyrone Dixon, who was here on the 1130 podcast.
The daily assumption of the one. Mm-hmm. And I want to know if you can elaborate on that. You was talking about, how it's the one for us. God put, many people in our path, in our life for a reason. So I want to know if you can touch on that situation also.
Absolutely. Actually, I can. So I got a little time here. It's not a love nugget, man. You give me a little moment. I actually believe in there's three kind of categories of a soulmate or the one. Like, is what people like to call them. There's somebody that you meet, right? And this person might just be a friend that you connect with, that you could be cool with, and okay, cool. This person is somebody I can have in my life for the rest of my life or the duration of my life. Then there's the second person that you meet in your life. And that person is the person that you think is the one, but somewhere along the lines, a lot goes wrong in the relationship. Either you messed up, they messed up, whatever, and they're not the one. Most people get stuck at that point in time in a relationship, Dre, and they don't even seek a higher level of the one, quote unquote one, which is the person that you're supposed to go through the mess with. So that second category of a soulmate, you go through that mess with them, you learn the lesson you're supposed to learn, and then you carry that on to your final soulmate, right? So most people get stuck in between 2 and 3 and not trying to seek another person. But there's always a lesson in every relationship, and that's the biggest thing to keep in mind.
Your opinion on how to connect, in a relationship with your partner more on a deeper level as far as intimacy. Mm-hmm.
So do you intimacy in terms of conversation or intimacy in terms of
far as conversation, far as doing things,
Oh yeah. Together, see, now you're talking my language, Dre. Now you talking my language. I think there has to be number one an open communication. Right. Okay. Open communication. And when I say open communication, I mean, if you have some deep, dark, intimate things that you like to do that you might feel like, oh, well, this is a little too kinky or this is a little too much maybe for my partner. Your partner has to be receptive of that, right? We all have our own kinks. We all have our own quirks, whatever the case may be. Your partner has to be receptive to yours and you have to be receptive to theirs, right? In order for the relationship to be effective in the long run. Real, man.
Have you ever had to tell someone they are just not fit for each other?
Yeah, that's a difficult conversation to have, right? It's a difficult conversation. They got mad at me for saying like, wow. They got mad at me. Yep, they got mad at me, but it's not funny. It's kind of crazy that they maybe 2 months after they got mad at me and they're like, you can give us our money back. We don't want to work with you anymore. Blah, blah, blah. They were broken up. So I'm like, you know what I mean? That's the laws of the universe. But yeah, they got mad at me. Like, who do you think you are? You can't tell us this, that, and the third. You're and it was like, I was like, all right, see, they couldn't even agree about being mad at me. So that was also a red flag.
That's crazy. Has someone ever told you your advice wasn't good enough?
Oh yeah. You get that as a relationship coach a lot. And actually, frankly, I've said it myself. Like, oh, who is this person telling me blah blah blah? I've gotten into those type of modes before, but I think whenever you're not receptive or open to new information, you end up shooting yourself in the foot in the long run. So I had to get out of that mindset.
When did you find out you was the man? Like, you know, like you gave your advice and you was like, and you know, some people probably was like, who is he? But when did you, you know, really like get into and was like, you know what, I'm the man. Like my advice is people come to me for my advice. Like,
yeah, man, you dope, man. Obviously, you a dope dude, Dre. You come with the right questions, man. I think year two, my first year was an absolute struggle. And when I say struggle, man, like I would have events and nobody would show up. I remember having one event and my cousin showed up, which made me even feel worse because I'm like, dang, like only my people showing up. But slowly and surely, I started picking up steam. Probably year one in 8-9 months, but by year two, people were like beating down my door, like, "Hey, listen, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" I'm like, "Oh, I am the man, huh? Yeah, I am the dude y'all want to come to." So like that was cool, and I think that at that point I hit my stride, and I've been doing really well ever since.
Yo, you guys, it was awesome to have my guy Tyrone Dixon from the Quality of Love podcast last year here on the 1130 podcast, chopping it up with him, you know, about love, relationships, and just everything, man. So you guys, man, go follow my man Tyrone Dixon, and also go subscribe and follow to the Quality of Love podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, man. For real, it's also dope having podcast personalities and entrepreneurs and all that stuff, you know, here on the podcast, man. It's real cool. You know, you learn something every week. Speaking of entrepreneurs, you guys, man, Tessica Brown, you guys. Yes, we all know Tessica Brown. Shorty with the Gorilla Glue, you know, was like, yo, man, I'm gonna put this Gorilla Glue in my head. And, you know, she went viral and shit like that. But, yo, she is kind of like made chicken shit out of chicken salad, and she doing the damn thing now. And she got her own hair product business, you know, like, hey, that's what's up, man. Like, that is what's up. And she is supposedly, you know, sold about what, like $25,000 off of products now or whatever like that. So, man, yo, shout out to her, man, because that's a turnaround story right there. Because, yo, I get Gorilla Glue in my head, and I got surgery. Now I'm just known as the Gorilla Glue girl. Like, it's crazy in the motherfucker, bro. It really is, yo, for real, yo. For real, man. Hey, yo, man, we gonna move on here on the podcast, you guys. Hey, yo, I appreciate everybody who take their time out to listen to the 1130 podcast each and every week here on EB Radio or wherever you watch on YouTube. Thank you, guys. We had 1,110 subscribers, you guys, on YouTube. So let's keep trucking at it. I thank you guys so much. 3.4 thousand downloads on the wrestling podcast. So you guys, man, it's the support is everything. The support is everything, you guys, man. Don't be afraid, you guys, to support your friend, your family, or, you know, whatever like that. You know, I just seen someone who was like, you know, I ain't gonna say no names, and I'm like, you know, they close to me, and they liking some, you know, big superstars posts and stuff like that. Because on Instagram, you know, of course you can see, you know, if you're mutual friends with someone, you can see them liking other posts and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I thought I was XYZ and such, and, you know, no support over here, huh? So it's like, don't be crawling back, or don't be crawling when the 1130 podcast going global and stuff like that, man, because it all starts little, bro. It all starts little, man. It's not just me each and every week. It's the people that goes behind, you know, the 1130 podcast, whether it's people leaving comments and telling me what they think and what they thought about the show, or don't do this, do that, or, you know, whatever the case may be, whether I do it or don't. That's my prerogative, and it's my show. So, like, you feel me? But I also give a lot of credit to everybody, because I always wants to know some feedback and what should I do? Who should I have on the show, et cetera, et cetera. So, man, it's a team. It's not just, you know, one-man band. It ain't a one-man band. If it was a one-man band, then, hey, I thank God a lot. That's all I'm going to say, man. I thank him a lot, though. But for real, dog, it don't hurt the support. It don't hurt, man. Share it, like it, You know, for real. You never met this person a day of your life. Famous as a mug, got millions of dollars, millions. I'm trying to make it, you know, not so I can be saying, oh, I got millions of dollars. No, so I can, to be a representation, so I can take care of my family and my loved ones and, you know, become a, you know, I guess an influencer. I don't really want to say that, you know, because, you know, they be with some bullshit too. But hey, you know, just want to be me and live my life. But I mean, yo, man, support your peoples, man. For real, support your peoples, man. For real. Yo, shout out to April, you guys who been down with questions by April. We haven't done that segment on the podcast in a minute though, but shout out to April. Thank you for the documentary, all the help, all the advice. You guys, if you're listening from DC, you want to get your head did, your kids' head did, follow Head by April, man, for real. And go get your kids' head done and did, for real. But you guys, man, we going to move on here on the 1130 podcast, you guys, man. Man, speaking of family, you guys, speaking of family support, family is important, man, because some people out here don't have family. And, you know, yes, you can't choose your family, but you can make your own family, you know. And I say that to say, you guys, man, yo, one day I want to have kids. One day, you know, if that's the thing that God blessed me with to do, to have kids, because I was like, man, I'm in a wheelchair, and I'm like, man, hey, if God, allows me to have a family and, kids, man, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. But you guys, man, watch your family members. Watch your family members. You know, they were like, yeah, man, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Then they say, watch your family members. I'm like, damn, well, yeah. I mean, hey, you got to, man. You really got to. Some of them might just be using you to get what they need to be in life or need what they, you feel me? Like, you got to watch them, man. That's all I'm going to say. You got to watch some of them. Some of them a little funny, man. You feel me? They'll sit by you just so they can, you got to watch them. But you guys, man, we're going to move on here before we head out here on the podcast, you guys. I mentioned, my wrestling podcast, you guys, got the 3.4 thousand downloads. I thank everybody for tuning in. This coming week on the wrestling podcast, I'm going to dive more into this topic. The Chyna, you guys, everybody familiar with Chyna, ninth wonder of the world, former pro wrestler Chyna, you guys, Vice made an incredible documentary that came out, I believe it was last Thursday. Man, it was awesome. Yo, it was awesome, you guys. And just from, her time being in pro wrestling, and, I kid you not, bro, for everybody who may have, watched, man, come on, man, who didn't watch wrestling in the late 90s or early 2000s? And, Chyna, bro, when I first saw her, I thought she was a man. I thought she was a man. And, hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm cool. Hey, I just want to get that straight. But I thought she was a man. And I'm like, bro, she buff and she big and, stuff like that. And come to find out, watching the documentary, me saying that, people said that to her multiple times and kind of like really hurted her in a way. Because, her working in this pro wrestling world, and Vince McMahon is the owner. Vince McMahon, if anybody watched the wrestling, bro, you remember Trish Stratus, you remember Stacy Keibler, you remember all the blonde shorties that Vince McMahon always had some sort of sexual relationship with or tried to or make them did funny stuff. He couldn't do that with Chyna. You feel me? He did that with Trish, Trish, Tori, Stacy, he did that with everybody. He couldn't do that with Chyna. And he wanted to make Chyna into a diva. That's why when she was working with Eddie, she looked more feminine, got breast reduction, chin, done surgery, all that, No, the whole time, bro, she didn't want to do that. She just wanted to be athletic, strong, big, strong girl that, beat up women, bro. I'm going to talk more about this, you guys, on the wrestling podcast this coming Friday. You guys, man, just be yourself. Once you learn how to be yourself and stop trying to, be something for others, man, life gonna go real smooth, man. It's gonna go real smooth. Once you learn how to accept yourself and fuck what everybody else say, because at the end of the day, this is my life, not your life. Live your life, not your business. I think that's what a lot of people got a hard time of doing is minding their own business. Like, mind your motherfucking business. You feel me? Like, I'm minding my own business because I know where I'm trying to be. I know where I'm trying to go. I know where I came from, and I know where I'm trying to go. You feel me? A lot of people just don't mind their business, man. You feel me? And you wind up in, you know, either getting your heart broken or you got too much expectations, or mind your business. Just mind your business, man. But yo, man. Oh man, it's been one hell of a show, man. It's been one hell of a show, of course, each and every week, man. Here on the 1130 podcast. You dig, man? Yo, man, it's summertime. Man, I pray for everybody over in the West Coast, bro. Like, it's like 100 degrees almost every day. Like, shout out to my man Chris from Conversing with Chris and Nisa. Like, it's like 110 degrees every day in El Paso. Like, I'm talking about at nighttime, low 95. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Come on, get out of here, bro. Like, I know I'm a big fan of like the summer, but bro, I'm not trying to be outside 110, 112 degrees. Shit, this cushion I'm sitting on, I'm probably gonna burn my ass. You know, in my wheelchair. It's black too, man. Nah, bro. But for real, bro, like I feel for everybody over there, man. It's some crazy weather, crazy time, but we, you know, getting back to normal, man. And yo, let's keep doing it, man. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep staying safe. Let's keep giving the glory to God, man, because yo, I'm on lock, man. I'm on WWE.com, on their website, on Instagram, trying to figure out when they're gonna announce when they coming back to DC. They announced a lot of dates for Miami, Texas, all these dates, you know, everywhere, man. When they coming back to DC? Them and the 85 South show. I'm trying to see them too. Definitely trying to see the 85 South. I missed out last time the 85 South show was here in DC. I missed out. And last time WWE came here, it was the last time WWE came here was right before the pandemic. But then they were gonna come back here May 1st, but then they canceled all that stuff. So it was just, it's crazy. But you guys, man, y'all about to get on out of here. It's been one awesome episode. Once again, you guys, go subscribe to the Quality of Love podcast and go follow my man Tyrone Dixon on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, before I go, you know what time it is, man. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels. Follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe. Yes, subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. You dig? I'll wait. All right. Tell a friend about the 1130 podcast. You know how we get down. I keep this little hat that I, wore on my podcast some time ago, the 1130 podcast. So when people see me, they be like, what's the 1130 podcast? And I be like, that's my podcast. So sort of a branding. So when people see me, I'm like, what's the 1130 podcast? So tell a friend, man. Tell a friend. It's a dope podcast, man. And go subscribe and all that good stuff. And once again, you guys, the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, where I interview some of your favorite independent referees, wrestlers, ring announcers, you name it, you guys, podcast personalities, all that good stuff. The 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, each and every Friday. If you're down with wrestling, tune in, man. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we get down. Or tune in on YouTube, man. For real. If you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the1130podcast@gmail.com. Or just DM me on social media so we can work, man. Yo, one hell of a show again, man. One hell of a show. It's episode 81 on the countdown to 100th episode, you guys, of the 1130 podcast. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. It's more to come. Yes, it's more to come. So come back next week, you guys, and the week after, and the week after that. So set your alarm early in the morning. And before I go, you guys, man, for everybody on YouTube, download the free EB Radio app once again, you guys, so you can ride the wave with my guys early in the morning on Wednesdays at 8:30 a.m. The Ride the Wave podcast, you guys. Also, you guys, every Wednesday, you guys, the Notorious Moms, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday, the Bond Chronicles podcast, 8 p.m., you guys, on EB Radio. Also, you got some of your favorite DJs and exclusive shows you're not going to want to miss, man, on EB Radio. For real. You know how we get down, man. And yo, don't forget to tune in once again, you guys, next week. Get the 11:30 podcast, all new episode at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yo, it's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Now I'm out.
Zodi Breeze. Yes, it's me, yes, it's Z, yeah, Zodi Breeze. Yes, I'm fresh, yes, I'm fly. Haters hate all the time, they will not stop my shine, nigga. Nigga, what you mean? They will not stop my shine, nigga. Nigga, what you mean? Yes, it's me, yes, it's Z, yeah, Zodi Breeze. Yes, I'm fresh, yes, I'm fly. Haters hate all the time, they will not stop my shine, nigga. Nigga, what you mean? They will not stop my shine, nigga. Nigga, what you mean? Long time coming, nigga, it wasn't easy. Couple niggas left me, other niggas did me greasy. No more bitches in the stable, found out it wasn't easy. 2 or 3 is good for me, trying to live stress-free. Used to be a wild child, till society changed me. No more Glock 40s, only AR-15s. Had to switch the scheme, damn near done switched the team. They done stole a nigga swag, had to go and steal it back. Always save the best for last, I get the last laugh. My chopper came from Pakistan, my kids made me a different man. I talk, I hope they listen, man. A hater gon' hate your ass, they dirty and they broke. What the fuck do you think, my man? That's the fucking problem, they don't fucking think. So I'm a OG Bobby Johnson, they ass to the bank. I'm young, fresh and fly, give a damn what you think. I just know my next move, my best move. No checkers, this is chess, dude. Yes, Zodi Breeze the best, dude. Yeah, they ain't stopping shit over here, man. Fuck no. Hit after hit after hit. The fucking wise man once told me, man, you gotta know where you come from to know where you going, nigga. Food for thought, nigga. A hater gon' hate your ass all the time, nigga. Once you realize time don't matter, a fucking hater won't matter, nigga. Mind over matter, nigga. What matters won't mind, nigga. Boss the fuck up.